When you think of managing God's resources, what comes to mind? Well, probably the idea that the church board is supposed to handle that, aren't they? But when we surrender, fully surrender to God, everything we have, everything we own, everything that is titled to us, really everything, becomes His. Because there is no other way for us to respond to a God who has given us everything than to surrender all that we have to Him. Now, when He called His first disciples on this earth, Jesus went to two brothers, Simon and Andrew. They were fishermen, but that was actually a good business back then. Most of the protein that was eaten in that region was fish, and it came from the Sea of Galilee. So they probably had a good business going there. And he immediately went to the two older brothers who were business partners for Simon and Andrew. They were named James and John. They were the sons of a man named Zebedee. They were mending their nets, which is a daily task, and He called them, and they immediately left their boat and their father and followed Him. These four men left a going business, probably a thriving business, and yet they went with no more promise than, "I will make you fishers of men." Now look at the rich young ruler. He knew the commandments. He did the commandments. He was proud of that. And he wanted to be a disciple of Jesus. But Jesus knew there's one thing more that he didn't know. He says, "You lack one thing. Go sell all you have and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. And come follow me." And the young man went away sorrowful because he had some really good stuff. A lot of it. You see, where Simon and Andrew and James and John all left what they had to follow Jesus, the rich young ruler, he just couldn't. He wasn't fully surrendered to God. You see, when we're fully surrendered to God, our wealth ceases to be a scorecard about how we are doing, about how well we are doing versus other people. Instead, it becomes just another tool in God's toolbox, which He places there for us to use to glorify Him and to bless others. The first commandment, "I am the Lord your God. You shall have no other gods before me." God was saying, you will have nothing else that will come before me. I used to have a lot of stuff. I had a video system and an audio system that I used, and I toured around, and I sang and preached in churches, and I was always so busy making sure that I was using God's stuff for God's purpose. I was neglecting my time with God and my time with the Word. It got so bad that one night I came home and there were 30-foot flames shooting out of my rented house. You see, God was letting me know He didn't want my stuff. He wanted me, totally surrendered to Him. Resource management, managing God's resources. It comes from the heart. It can't be faked. It's more than just a mental exercise. It's part of growing in the Lord.